Welcome.
Welcome to the Espresso Shot. We're going to talk about loneliness.
Loneliness. So I pulled up a definition of what is lonely. I cannot talk today. What is loneliness? And this is from Choosing Therapy. Loneliness occurs when people feel like they are by themselves or abandoned, even if there are others around them to interact with. Loneliness is not always about other people being present, but more so about someone being able to connect with, identify with, and feel a closeness to others. I thought that was a good definition.
Here's a good definition because I think that when people maybe picture loneliness, they picture someone who is by themselves.
Yes,
But
I picture like alone in a dark room, which I
yeah,
mean is that too. Um,
staring wistfully out the window, maybe.
yeah, gloomy clouds going by.
Oh,
Maybe just picture a person in a room full of people, at a party. And I think that it can be the same experience, right?
I've
It,
definitely felt lonely in a room full of people before. And I also, and it's interesting because I don't think at that point, like, just one remember them having like, I couldn't pinpoint what it was, right? It was just like, why don't I feel okay here? What's wrong with me?
right. Or like,
Um,
I don't know if you felt this way, but I'm like, I shouldn't feel lonely. I'm in a room full of people that I know love me
yeah,
because they're my family and they have
yeah,
to. Like, whatever. So it's like,
yeah,
how can you feel that way?
you can. And I think that, more relevant to our um mission here is I definitely felt lonely, when I was home with a partner
Hmm.
and, they weren't present
Yes.
and or I wasn't seen, right? Or I didn't have emotional safety, right? Those are all things that I think can easily promote loneliness, even if you're, you know, partnered and, this person is supposed to be your person, right?
I remember the realization, I think I've shared this with you before, where after, he left and everything, and I thought, I think I've been in a relationship by myself for a really long time. Like,
Yeah.
how lonely that felt. Like it was like me putting in all the effort, really getting
Ooh,
nothing back. And
yes. And like what did I, what am I doing wrong? What was I doing wrong? And the truth is
right.
it's, you know,
And how lonely that felt,
hmm
for
hmm
sure.
And then, there is, I think, a loneliness that kicks in, I don't know. I mean, I think in the aftermath of a breakup or, a separation, um, that can certainly feel lonely, but I can also remember feeling really like relieved.
Yeah. Well, because then it's like you get the power to make changes
Yes.
in a
And
different way.
that was really, really, really important for me. Um, but I think that, and it was hard for me because I was doing this in the middle of COVID. So it wasn't like I could
That's like a
go
whole
out.
yeah, it's a whole
Oh,
different ball.
what
I
an
think the
anomaly
people
that
that got
was.
divorced during COVID, like, should get some type of special divorce, like a gold plate around there. Like,
Super
you went
divorce.
through the worst time at the worst time. You get a gold star for that.
Divorce. Yeah. And so like that was kind of a lonely time for me because I really couldn't be around a lot of other people.
Yeah.
But I will say that like that was actually also a time where I could really focus on myself and, you know, uh do some work in building my space around me, which we'll talk about it in an episode soon. That talks about, how you can make changes around you that feel good.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, I do sometimes feel lonely, even now, it's been a couple of years I've been sharing time with my kids. And
Yeah.
there are still moments of loneliness. And, I'm single, so it's not like I have a partner to um look to for support in that way. But I get it from, my mom, my sister. I have some, really incredible friends
Yeah.
that have really been supportive and terrific through this process. So it's like, and anyone is just a phone call or a text away.
Right.
And then also, like, I just, I've explored other interests, that are new that I never expected to be interested in, like gardening,
I was gonna say, like, what?
gardening. Who would
Oh,
have
good.
thought?
You can help me fix
I
my
used
garden.
to I used to kill every plant that like I ever had, and now I love working on, a garden and learning to play golf and um, just re re-exploring my creativity, and doing this podcast is certainly part of that. So, I think that there are ways to find fulfillment, right?
Mm.
And I think fulfillment is kind of the antidote for loneliness.
Yeah, I like that. I agree. And I think the connections, if you're talking about having connections, they can come in a million different ways. I mean, I would say our group of women that we have been in and worked with for a long time now, they give me so much because there was one thing in the definition, it's that people understand you or that they understand what you've been through or what
Yeah,
you're going through is so like that makes me feel less lonely in my experience. That I'm not the only I feel like everyone feels this way, even if you like intellectually know it's not true. Like when you're going through it, you're like, I am the only person on the face of maybe it's just me. I'm the only person on the face of the planet that's ever experienced this particular experience.
which is completely untrue, by the way.
Right. And, like intellectually, that's not true. Like it's just almost not even possible, right? Because there's so many people. But you feel that way. And
Yeah,
and that's valid. But then when you're talking about it and someone else says, I felt that exact same way, it's like that's the connection part that like just
yeah,
that's the part.
yeah. That's what brings us all together. And God, do we need a lot of that today, these
Yeah.
days?
And I think there are creative ways, like I don't know if you would say this like before COVID or not, but I, especially like because of the group, because of my school was fully online, like I thought you can't really make the same connections online or on video that you can in real life. And I'm not sure I feel that way anymore. I mean, I've made some like real friendships where I've only probably met the person like I have one person in particular that I went to school with that I had never met in person. And then like, after we graduated, um like me and my family were going down to Florida and his family lives in Florida and we met up and had lunch and stuff. And like it's a real friendship.
Yeah,
But like so there's a million different ways to get those connections and stuff now, which I think is really helpful for being stuck at home with kids or
well, I mean, I think that, we talk ad nauseum about our support group, but I think
yes.
that, being able to connect, and this was a weekly connection over Zoom, right? I mean, we've met most of the group now in person in one way or another, but you know, being able to connect over Zoom, is such a lifeline for those of us who are working, those of us who have kids and can't leave them, right? I mean, so I think that there are ways to find community that don't involve even leaving your house.
Right. Which is can be definitely so important. And I think it does, I think the struggle with loneliness or maybe depression, obviously, I'm not a mental health expert, clearly. No. um, is that when you're feeling that way, it's hard to be like, okay, I'm feeling really lonely. Maybe identifying that and then also doing something about it because like you're feeling so lonely, you don't want to do anything. You just want to, at least for me, like I want to like sit in it.
Yeah,
Um,
I think for me when I felt depressed in the past, it's really been a powerlessness, right? Like you feel like you have no control
right.
over how to and maybe the thing that you have no control over is just that you feel rotten, and you just and processing those feelings with a professional is probably the best advice I can give.
Mhm.
Um and I think that that doesn't necessarily change your mood, but it gives you the tools to find a way to change the circumstances so that you can get out of that stuckness. But
So true. But we want you to know that if you're feeling lonely, that we promise you that there's other people out there that have experienced or feel the feelings that you felt, if we haven't, and that you're not alone.
yeah,
It's hard. This process and this shit is tough, and it brings out all of those things. And we want you to know that we've both been there in different ways, um, and obviously still experience it, and everyone does because we're all human. Um, and we care and we want you to be okay. And we're here.
we're here. So if you need support, please join our Facebook group, find us on Instagram. We are happy to um, engage in a conversation. And if you need to DM us privately, that's fine too.
Yep.
We're here to be a sounding board and um another support to
Mhm.
help you get through this.
Yep. Thank you.